Hello, I'm Jacob, and you're watching the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. Now, if you follow me, which I believe you should, either here or on Instagram or on Facebook, you will know that just about a week ago, Esee sent me these 3 Esee 4 knives in mystery stainless steels to test. My goal in this testing is and has been to not only find which mystery stainless steel I like the best, but also to try and see if I can't figure out what the heck they are. Now, before we get into all of this testing, this channel is completely funded through sales at my website, beachandtactical.com, where I hand make tactical and survival gear, my Amazon store, and my Patreon, where patrons support the channel, as you probably understand how that works. And I don't monetize with YouTube, so that's really an important part of this channel. Those links will be in the description box below, and I'd really appreciate it if you check them out. So what I planned on doing with this test was to start out with some kitchen chores using all 3 knives in the kitchen. Might sound a little bit silly, but to me it says a lot about edge geometry. I don't know why I brought the goats out for this, but I did. Hey, cut that out! Hey! I'm talking to you! Stop! I already told you once. Get out of here, you can't eat it. Alright. Kitchen work. It says a lot about edge geometry, but also a lot of kitchen stuff really puts a patina on blades quite quickly. So I chopped up some potatoes, did some other stuff, and then I left the knives out in the rain overnight to check patina, to check for staining. I thought that I had some, but it all wiped off. So all 3 of these blades are very stain resistant, which to me probably rules out any of them being S30V in my experience. It's stain resistant and it's easy to clean, but if you use it in the kitchen and leave it out in the rain and kind of do stuff like that to it, it does tend to corrode fairly quickly. So the next thing that I did was some cross-grain batoning. Figure out a way to baton all 3 of these knives about the same amount. Although batoning with these knives, none of them are gonna have a problem with it. It's not really gonna dull the edge, but someone would complain. So I cross-grain baton pieces of cedar into 3 pieces, about the same with each knife, and started feather sticking the cedar, because that was the next part of the test. And the feather sticking with the cedar, I could have started a fire with the feather sticks that I made, but this isn't about a feather stick that works. This is about YouTube. I had to do something beautiful. The most important thing about feather sticks is finding good straight wood of the right hardness. This cedar looked straight and didn't look like it had a lot of knots, but once I split it, it did. So that was not gonna work. So I grabbed some black locust that I had, split it up, brought it up here, started making some feather sticks. And check out how that all went. So when feather sticking with the 3 blades, I realized, as usual, that the biggest difference between the 3 that I noticed was really the wood that I was working with, more so than the blades. Which makes sense, being that they're 3 identical blades. I mean, they all feathered well. My biggest difficulty was, as I continued feathering, I realized that I was getting bored, tired of dealing with goats who are trying to constantly eat my feather sticks or my tarp or my camera, and being that I'm really not going to make a fire with these feather sticks, at least not today, you know, lacking purpose. So essentially these 3 knives all feather stick really exactly the same. So the next step here is just going to be cutting up some cardboard to get them dull and seeing how easy they sharpen up. I will say that in this fun cardboard cut test that I'm sure all of my subscribers have been dying to see me do, it seemed like knife number 1 cut through all of the cardboard better than knife number 2 and number 3, which seemed to struggle a lot more. Now that I'm done with all of this other stuff, how do I make stropping these knives look metal? So what did we learn about the knife steels? When I went to do my stropping, which by the way, I think I lost all of my footage from knife number 1. Not that anybody probably cares, because stropping isn't exactly exciting. But knife number 1 and 2 were still quite sharp. I'd give, I think, the edge to knife number 1. I was actually shocked at how sharp it still was. And I mean, knife number 2 as well. I mean, they still took hair off easily. Knife number 3 was actually dull along many parts of the blade. So now after stropping, only 5 strops per side, then down to 4, then 3, 2, and 1. Knife number 1 and 2 still came back to being just psychotically sharp. Very sharp, which I was very pleased to see. It was easy to do. Knife number 3 came right back. Knife number 3 actually had a roll along its edge that I don't know what it was from. Everything stropped right out, nice and sharp, really easy. Based on that, if I had to guess, I would say knife number 3 is probably 420 HC, and knife number 1 and 2 are probably like S35 VN and CPM 154, something like that. My corrosion tests were inconclusive. I'm going to be honest, I didn't do this test justice. I really want to do Esee right, and I really wish I could have taken all 3 knives out for like a 3-day adventure and really ran them through the ringer. That just was not in the cards for me right now. But what I really learned from this is how much Esee wants to do things right. It costs a lot of money for a company to do everything involved in making a few mystery blades that a lot of people wouldn't understand. And it takes a lot of dedication, it takes a lot of time. I caught wind of this on the Esee forum. Thank you so much to the guys at Esee for letting me be a part of this and to beat on these blades a little bit. And so they're willing to essentially send a bunch of these knives that they've got so much money invested in into a bunch of strangers, some of which they know break knives, like me. And so it just shows that they really care not only about their customer base, but also if they're considering bringing out stainless steel knives, clearly it's important to them to do it right and to pick the right steel. And they're actually going to do blind testing for that. That's really awesome. That's really awesome. So, excuse me. Anyways, I think any 3 of these steels would be great. I would like to abuse all 3 of them more, do a little bit of destruction test type stuff to see if one of them goes ping. I'd actually really like to drop all 3 into the freezer and then beat on them a little bit, baton some black locust or something like that. But these knives really weren't sent to me to die. They were sent to me to be tested. So, like I said, I wish I could have done more, but at the end of the day, if this video shows only one thing, it's how much Esee actually cares and wants to do things right. That means the world to me. And that's why I love Esee, and I think I always will. Anyways, hopefully Esee will eventually tell us what the steals were, and if they do, someday I will share that. But one thing I'll say before I go, if you enjoyed this video and if you like hard use knives, I would consider joining the Esee forum. There's a lot of information there. You can get into direct contact with Esee, with a lot of their guys. You can make your opinions known and heard on there. It's genuinely a good group of people. So I'd highly recommend that you go over, just Google Esee Knives Forum. You'll find it. Sign up there. I don't get on there as much as I should. I probably pop in there once every 2 weeks. For some reason, I used to be on forums a lot, and now I'm just not. But good place to be. Again, thank you to Esee for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, my viewers, for watching. Please subscribe. I've got some exciting stuff coming up. I'm sorry for the pace at which it's coming up. Things are going slow right now as we're preparing to move and buy a new house and sell a house and all this stuff. But, you know, I will keep the content flowing. Please check me out on Instagram, The Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. Esee Knives also has an Instagram. And I am starting my own upshoot little knife company, Exodus Knife and Tool. Please check that out as well. I hope that you have a blessed day. I really appreciate you watching, and I look forward to talking to you in the comment section below.